So Creed was directed by Ryan Coogler and it stars Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed, the son of Apollo Creed, and when he wants to become a boxer like his father once was, he tracks down Rocky Balboa, once again played by Sylvester Stallone, and Rocky helps train Adonis to kind of be this boxer that he was back in the day and to kind of be his own person. So this was a movie that when it came out, or when it was about to come out, I was not looking forward to it. It's not like I was like a diehard fan of the Rocky franchise or thought only you can only make Rocky movies where Rocky is the main character or anything like that. I honestly didn't look forward to it because at the time I had never seen a Rocky movie, not even the first one. And since then, I have gone back and watched all the Rocky movies before this, and I do like the franchise overall, but it's not really a franchise that I would really go back and watch all the time. But I do like some of the movies, and Creed, looking back on it, I figured I would go back and review it with Creed 3 coming out in a few weeks. So this movie, I honestly think I like it a little bit more with each new viewing. So that's always a positive for me. So what do I like? I like Michael B. Jordan in this movie. I think he's an incredible actor. He's really good as Adonis in this movie. I do think his emotional scenes work. I do think his fighting is really good. I do think his character is very interesting, and I'm glad he's getting more and more opportunities with his character in these in Creed 2 and eventually Creed 3. Sylvester Stallone as Rocky, I do think he does a really good job. A lot of his scenes are really good, like his scene where he's at the graves of Adrian and Paulie. I do think that's really emotional. I do think that works. And I like the whole arc of him where he's now the trainer in this movie, where now he's a training Adonis, where on the movie he was being trained. And I do think the movie overall does that whole storyline work, passing the torch and, the student becomes the master in a way. I do like that. Tessa Thompson also does a really good job as Michael B. Jordan's love interest in the movie. I feel like their chemistry is really good. And the only other performance I really liked in the movie was Phylicia Rashad. I thought she did a really good job as the stern maternal figure for Adonis in this movie. I thought she did a really good job as well. Also, the fights in this movie are actually really good. I do like the one take fight where, like, I think it's his first major fight. I do think that's really well done. I do think the fights are intense and they're really well filmed. And also, I really do like the themes of this movie, where about how, like the themes of passing the torch and what does your name mean, and, being on your own and redemption and such. I do think a lot of those really do work and they're interwoven really well. Like the whole passing the torch, obviously, with, Adonis now becoming this boxer that Rocky was in his younger days. And now Rocky becoming this trainer who's looking towards the future, seeing what's going to happen with the future, and also what does your name mean, because obviously Adonis is upset because the name Creed is associated with his dad who tragically died in one of these movies, and he's trying to be his own thing and trying to move past it, but also it can't really escape him. I do think that's really well done. And also whole redemption with Rocky and how he tries to become the trainer now, it does really work. It's all really effective, and I do think that's really well handled. And also, I do like the homages that it does pay to the other Rocky movies, like obviously the Philadelphia Steps, and again the whole how he becomes a trainer, and it pays homage without like trying to use the original movie as a crutch, because we've seen movies where it's like, oh, they bring back characters from the original for this new installment, and they just kind of follow beat for beat from the original. And I'm glad it just doesn't do that. I'm really glad it knows what it is. It's its own thing, but it relies on the past, but trying to reinvent itself. And I do think that works. So is there anything about this movie that I didn't really like? Well, the whole subplot with Rocky and his cancer, I feel like could have been handled better. It is referenced in the first act and the second act, and I don't think it's even mentioned at all in the third act. It doesn't really work for me because they don't really bring it back in any way. I'm not saying he has to be in full remission or anything, but they kind of just don't bring it back after about the second act of this movie. And also, Adonis's opponents in this movie are just not that interesting to me. Some would argue, well, it's a Creed movie, it's about him, and it's about how his character is. Yes, that is true, but I would also argue that the opponents that Rocky fought in a lot of his movies also had a lot more personality. Obviously, Apollo Creed, and also Ivan Drago had a lot more personality than any of the opponents in this movie. I feel like I don't even remember a lot of their names, unfortunately, or even the actors. That's unfortunate. So, Creed overall, it's a movie I like more and more. Maybe if I watch it one more time, I'm going to like it even more. The acting's really good. The fights are really good. The themes do work, and it tries to be its own thing, but it just It's its own thing. It's stuck in the past, but it's definitely trying to move forward in a lot of ways. And even though there are some plot points I feel like it could have been a little bit better, I still really like this movie, and I'm still looking forward to Creed 3, which comes out in March. So I'll give Creed 3 out of 4 stars. See it. So, what did you think of Creed? And also, what's your favorite Rocky movie? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.